Somerville Sounds has a new free pay-what-you-want prototype Dusty Felts. 1 second. This right here is my Kawai piano. Quick history. When I first started sampling instruments years and years ago, the first thing I sampled was a flute and a violin, and I put it together and called it the flute and the violin. The second instrument I sampled was that very Kawai piano. But when we started Somerville, I took all of those away, and the plan was and is to reintroduce them with more features and just a more polished interface. I must also note that the Kawai Felt Piano became the Meyer Felt, which I sold a few years ago as a contact instrument. And then I took that away and created what is called Post Felt, which is a much more advanced version, resampled, and has more bells and whistles. But this sound is more true to the original version with some fun tweaks. I'm gonna jump over here and just click on this pure version, just the piano. Only 2 velocity layers. You can't really dig into it. I realized after the fact that the way I had the felts going, some notes were getting triggered while I was sampling other notes. And to be honest with you, I think that's possibly a flaw, but it's also one of those imperfections that you tend to remove from commercial sample libraries. But for the free stuff, I think it's kind of a cool mess up. Some of you aren't going to like that. I personally love it. Front page, awesome looking piano. Dusty Felts, gauzy keys with analog charm. I did have to ask Hunter what exactly gauzy meant, but you know, it's like gauze and it's like felt. He was like, come on, John. So I said, hey man, I'm not one to question Hunter. I'll cover the main controls in a second, but let's start with the preset. Click on the cog here. I got 1946 loaded. So what's going on here? Well, one thing you're going to notice right off the bat is there's noise. We decided to lean into the kind of lo-fi nature of this. So Hunter sampled an old tape deck amplifier.
The goal is to find some kind of charming lo-fi noise to go on this piano like a cozy analog sweater. Up in the window behind me here, there's this old Ampex 600 tube amplifier. It used to go with a reel-to-reel tape machine. The preamp barely works. It misbehaves all the time. It's noisy. Well, I think that's exactly what we're looking for.
You can turn it on and off. You can also link it to playback, so it only makes noise when you're playing, because otherwise that could get quite annoying. That's a cool feature. Owen did a lot to make this really cool. Before I flip over keys, that's just the sound of the keys releasing. One of those features that makes it more realistic. Hop on over to main. This 1946 obviously has a filter. Saturation. But what you're really hearing are the wow, flutter, and dust. So let me bring this down, open that back up, turn this off. That's fairly excessive, but still cool. Flutter. And dust. Dust is basically random volume modulation that's mimicking what happens to a record when dust gets in the grooves, right? It just, you drop the volume. What's fun about this is you can use it as a simple piano. Turn everything off, turn all this extra stuff off, no noise. And it's a nice, intimate piano. But I love building worlds around sounds. And you have this pure, quiet sound. The that's going to handle saturation and filtering and warbling effects, and then delays and reverbs. It's going to handle those different, so you can build out sounds and build out a universe based around this tiny little sound. So we're trying to set you off in that direction, and also giving you tools that, yes, there are lots of plugins where you can recreate this, but sometimes you just want to have it right in the box, get to that sound quick. Imagine if you're doing some kind of documentary or a period piece, and you can go back to 1946 and get something that sounds pretty convincing. Okay, overdrive, be careful, it is kind of loud. This is with the filter not engaged, and it's basically just the saturation. Have fun here. That's crazy. Pure. And sick, I had to do this. Most of you are thinking, oh, I'll never use that. But there will be a moment when you need it, and it's here. The specs, VST3, AAX, and AU. If you are an AAX user, a Pro Tools user like myself, maybe drop Owen a nice little note saying thank you, because he jumped through 1,000 hoops to make that work. They don't make it easy. Like always, our prototypes are pay what you want, meaning you can pay $0 if you want. We did add suggested price of $5. We'll take whatever you got to give, but we know that some of you can't afford that, and that's great. But hey, your donations mean a lot to us, and they help us keep this thing going. They're mowing a lawn outside, so I'll wrap it up. Be sure to check out our other free sounds, the Antiquarian Echoes, the Meyer Choir, and Rubber Bridge plugs. Talk soon.